Hello, I'm Jamie Harrington. I'm 21 and I'm a mental health advocate from Ballymun. So it's a bit of a mad story, I suppose. I was out and about one day in town and I was heading across to a sweet shop in Temple Bar to buy an American drink that you can only buy in a certain sweet shop. And I was walking across the Halfpenny Bridge and I seen this guy sitting on the ledge of the bridge and I just kind of looked at him and went, he shouldn't be there. And without thinking, I'm a bit of a non-thinker in life. I think after I do, which sometimes goes in my favour and sometimes doesn't. But I just went straight up to him and I was like, "You okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm grand, grand, go on. Thanks very much for stopping. I'll be all right." And I was like, "Look, you're not all right. Come down off the ledge. Come on, we have a chat. I mean, I don't know you. You don't know me. I'm not going to judge you. Come down." And I spent about 10 minutes trying to convince this bloke to come down off the ledge. And we ended up sitting on the pathway on the south side of the Liffey for about 45 minutes, having the absolute life chats, like the deepest chat I've ever had with anybody in my life, with this man I've never met. And after about 45 minutes, I said, "Look, I really have to go, but can we ring you an ambulance?" And he was, no, I'm all right. I'll walk it off. You know yourself. I'll be grand. Thanks very much. I'm just going to walk home. And I was like, "Look, me and you both know you're not all right. You need to talk to somebody. And you've talked to me, but I'm not a professional. Let's ring an ambulance." And he said, "Oh, grand, right. But I'm not going to hospital. They can just check me over." And I remember when the ambulance arrived and your man says to me, "What's wrong with him?" I said, "He's just been up in the ledge of the bridge." He said, "Oh, right, yeah. Put me in there, put me in the ambulance." And in fairness to the ambulance men, when they realised how serious it was, they started treating him more seriously. But before your man left in the ambulance, I was like, "Oh, jeez, no, I have to know what happens here. Like, I can't just never talk to this man again." So I wrote my phone number down on a piece of paper and gave it to him and thought nothing else of it. And then about 6 months later, I heard from him just saying thanks and everything was going great and his life was turned around and that day changed his life and that his girlfriend was pregnant and that they were going to have a baby and they were going to name the little boy Jamie. So Jamie is now born. He is good. I still talk to them. It's so funny. Normally they just bump into you in the street, but I was working on a campaign with Dublin Culture Connects at the time to bid for the capital of culture for Dublin. And they introduced me to Peter, and Peter said, "Oh, we should go for a walk, go for a burrito." So we went for a burrito. And I was telling him a completely different story about Ballymun and about how I love Ballymun. And when we crossed the Halfpenny Bridge, it still happens to me today, I get a big grin on my face. And he said to me, "What are you grinning about?" And I said, "Oh, there's this time." And I told him the story. And he rang me the night before the story went live. And he said, "So I've changed your story, by the way. I'm not running with the Ballymun story." I was like, "What one are you running with?" He's like, "The one about the man on the bridge, you remember?" And I was like, whoa. So I frantically was like, no, you can't. I have to talk to the guy first. So I rang him and I said, "Look, this is the story." He said, "Look, as long as my name doesn't go out, I don't care." So I rang Peter back from Human to Dublin and it went live. And I was working in a chipper at the time. I was like 16. It was my first job. And my phone was turned off in my pocket. And it went live and I turned my phone on at 10 o'clock. And my phone exploded. It just was mad. And in the days that followed, a PR company had to get involved because there was just so many people wanting to talk to me. And it was just crazy. I had an interest beforehand. About a year before that, I had met a guy called Luke Clerkin who turned out to be one of my best friends. He's now like a brother. And he was in Temple Bar busking for a charity that I'm not involved in anymore. But he was raising money for this charity. And on the bed sheet up on the wall behind him, he had busk for suicide prevention. And I'm not very musically talented, but I can make people laugh. And I just said to him, "Hey man, I'd love to get involved." So I ended up introducing all the different acts that he had organised for that. So it was class, and that sparked me interest in mental health, I suppose. What am I not up to these days? I start college officially next week. So I'm super nervous about that. Obviously, my own mental health prevented me from finishing school. So I feel like mental health wise, I'm ready for the world. I'm working in a youth project. It's what I've always dreamed of. I am doing smaller, different projects about mental health. I'm going to study social care. So I'm going to study social care, get me level 6, and then hopefully go on to Minute and do youth and community. Do you know what? It's funny. I talk about this with my friends all the time because I get the slagging of a lifetime for the Humans of Dublin stuff. Oh yeah, you're your man from Humans of Dublin. And I think if I could go back to when I was 16 and change things, I would change how I handled it. It really affected my mental health being on Humans of Dublin, because you had all these people that wanted to talk to you and all these people wanted to hear your story, and you're like, at one point when that all happened, there was interviews from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock in the evening, one after the other. And then BBC rang and they were like, can we fly you over tomorrow morning? And I remember sitting in an apartment with Manchester with my nana. My nana was my responsible adult because my mum was in work. And I remember it was 4 o'clock in the morning and I was reading through these comments on the post. People saying I was a liar, it wasn't real, it was fake. There was one comment that got to me the worst, and it was I should have went in with him. And for days and days I thought about that comment. So if I could go back and change something, I would go back and tell myself, don't listen to them. Keep doing it. Just keep going. Yeah, so I have had a couple of interesting jobs over the years. I've never been one to sit at home because it's not good for your mental health to just sit in. Keep active, keep busy. And I remember walking through Temple Bar one day and I seen this band playing on the corner and I was like, they're deadly. And I got chatting to the lead singer, Cav, and ended up just becoming really good friends with him. And in turn ended up working for them and going on the road with Key West. So I was on the road with Key West for 3 years. I started off as their merch guy, moved on up to roadie, and then just before COVID came along, I was being trained in as their assistant tour manager. I ring my nana. She's my journal. Ring her for the catch up, the gossip, have the chats, talk about everything in my life. If it's a good day, it's a good day. If it's a bad day, she really is there for me. So that's my kind of first thing I do most days is give her a ring or a text. And then I just get on with it. Get up, get out. I'm a normal 21-year-old as well. Like, I mean, I always try and tell, when I'm doing anything like this, I always try and say to the young people that are watching, I'm 21. I do the normal 21-year-old things. I mean, and when I was 16 and I was talking in schools, I would never say, I'm so perfect, I'm so great. You know, I done the 16-year-old things. I've been in fields. I've been out with the lads. I've done it all. So I don't ever try and claim to be the messiah of perfectness, because nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. We're all on earth to make mistakes. We learn from making mistakes. Keep the head up. Don't listen to them. The only person whose opinion matters is your own. If you're happy, who cares? Happiness comes from within. Happiness doesn't come from what your mate says or how your mate feels, or, you know, someone doesn't like the trousers you're wearing. Who cares? Do you like them? Grand. Yup. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it doesn't happen as much anymore because I've kind of started switching my channels to private. I've kind of started turned off. I've recently, on the advice of a friend, turned the messaging feature on Facebook and Instagram to only people who I follow can message me, because for a while I wasn't mentally prepared to offer advice to people. So people still recognise me in the street. My friends call it the Jamie Harrington effect. you'll be in the queue in Pennies and you'll just hear, that's Jamie Harrington. And it's so funny because I still get so embarrassed by it. I still go all red. So it's the Ash Project's a homework, an after school and homework club for young people in Ballymun. It's just a safe, warm space to come and be yourself and be nurtured and loved and be yourself, I suppose. It's a really good, positive mental place to be. I've recently started putting Dr. Seuss quotes on the wall, and we've got a really good one from Aoife Dooley. She does these unreal, lovely portraits, and it's just kind of be yourself, be proud, you know, kind of really nice stuff. And we've just started hanging them on the walls recently. I think this question is one that confuses me because young people don't ever come up to you and say, oh, Jesus, I needed to hear that about mental health. But I used to give out my email address at the end of every talk, and every school I left, I would get at least 4 or 5 emails from students anonymously saying, thank you so much, I needed to hear that. And I never had a school that didn't rebook me. So, I mean, in that way, it was a success. But also, I've had the interactions with people over the years where they've come on to me on Snapchat or Instagram and said, I was thinking about taking my own life. And then I thought back to what you said in the talk about how small problems can build up. And by talking to somebody, we can release those problems. And I talked to somebody and now I feel much better. So I suppose they worked in a sense that people now know it's okay not to feel okay and it's absolutely okay to ask for help. But also that it is as simple as talking about your problems. In my opinion, young people are now talking about mental health more freely, but the problem we face in society is now social media, and it's now cool to talk about your mental health. And it's a trend. So, you know, people are jumping on this trend of, oh, mental health and World Suicide Prevention Day. And these are the same people who don't take a minute out of their day to be kind to somebody, but they will take advantage of a hashtag. So the thing for me is that I always say, be kind always, and remember who you kick on the way up the ladder, because you have to come back down the ladder. And that was my granddad was a wise man, and that was a saying he used to always say, remember who you kick on the way up, because you have to come back down the ladder. I'm a very shy person. I'm good at putting on the persona, I'm good at being out there, but my close friends will tell you that I'm a very shy person. I don't like meeting new people. I don't like being out of my comfort zone. I'm a very much so a creature of habit. So I eat in the same places. I talk to the same people. I wear the same hoodies. I'm a very much so a shy person and a creature of habit. People never believe that.